One day, the leaders of the world's wealthiest nations, the Group of Seven, will meet virtually to discuss the situation.
Reuters reporting UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson is expected to ask President Biden to extend the August 31st deadline for U.S. troops to leave Afghanistan. Johnson is also reportedly considering placing sanctions on the Taliban. The virtual meeting will be the first time President Biden collectively speaks with the U.S.'s top European allies about the situation in Kabul. Inez de la Cuetara, ABC News, at the Foreign Desk.
Pfizer's COVID vaccine getting full approval from the FDA for anyone 16 and over. So what's next?
Moderna also sent its application for FDA approval in June. So we should see some results by next month and potentially it being also fully approved by the FDA before October. Johnson & Johnson, on the other hand, hasn't sent its application in, and they plan to do it by the end of the year.
ABC News medical contributor Dr. Imran Ali. Full approval means even more companies will likely soon be requiring vaccination as a stipulation of employment. Tennessee struggling to clean up after catastrophic flooding over the weekend.
At least 21 people killed, including 7-month-old twins, swept away from their father. Country music star Loretta Lynn posting on Facebook her family is heartbroken. Their ranch foreman, Wayne Spears, among the victims.
ABC's Elwyn Lopez. History made in New York with the swearing in of Kathy Hochul.
Governor Kathy Hochul is New York's first woman governor. Now, overnight, her swearing in happened in a short private ceremony at the state capitol. She plans to spend her first day in office meeting with legislative leaders and speaking to the public this afternoon for the first time as governor.
ABC's Candace McCowan. Her governor and Andrew Cuomo issued a video statement touting his accomplishments. He is fighting against allegations of sexual harassment. You're listening to ABC News.
Are you more than $10,000 in debt? Feel like you're on a never-ending treadmill, staying in one place and never getting ahead with those minimum payments? You feel like there's no way out? Don't let the credit card companies bully you anymore. There are programs in place to help you get free of your debt, and you don't have to pay the entire amount you owe. The program at Total Financial Freedom can help you get debt-free in months instead of decades. Get off the debt treadmill and stop the harassment. Get free of credit card debt, signature loans, department store cards, internet loans, and medical bills. Call now at 800-533-6605 for free information. For about 10 years, Total Financial Freedom has helped thousands. They're A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, too. Get off the endless cycle without having to declare bankruptcy. You'll have the right to settle your debt for a mere fraction of what you owe. Call Total Financial now at 800-533-6605. That's 800-533-6605.
Could be a new link between breast cancer and high cholesterol, according to a new study.
Researchers created a model to simulate exposure to cholesterol in cancer cells. In the presence of chronic cholesterol exposure, those cells have enhanced tumor ability, and they invade a person's natural ability to kill malignant cells, especially breast cancer cells. The upshot is that cholesterol-lowering drugs should be studied as potential cancer prevention drugs as well.
That's ABC's Jim Ryan. If you're uneasy about what could be in your next hot dog, another study suggests your instincts are probably correct.
A new study suggests that eating one hot dog takes 36 minutes off of your life. New research from the University of Michigan evaluating more than 5,800 foods, ranking them by their nutritional disease burden to humans. A beef hot dog on a bun resulting in 36 minutes lost, largely due to the detrimental effect of processed meat. The same study suggesting that eating foods like salted peanuts, baked salmon, and rice with beans are equivalent to adding between 10 and 15 minutes back onto your life. Will Gans, ABC News, New York.
Restaurants are still having a tough time hiring and retaining workers. A study from Black Box Intelligence and Snag-a-Job shows that wages rose by 10%, but vaccines and turnover rates are high. The study says workers are looking for other opportunities with better hours and better benefits. This is ABC News.
The pandemic's reminded us we live in a sea of airborne germs that can assault us with every breath. Your nose is the body's first line of defense by helping filter out allergens, bacteria, and viruses before they reach your lungs. So how do you clean your nose? Navage uses powered suction to flush out mucus and germs that cause congestion or worse, can make you sick. Over 2 million people use Navage to breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier without drugs. Go to Navage.com or find Navage at Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, and Target.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
The reasons more and more people are coming to NC Tractor to do business are the selection of Massey Ferguson tractors, Bobcat zero-turn mowers, fantastic customer service, and the special Phil Sheehan seasonal discounts. NC Tractor on Railroad Avenue in Rutherford is making dreams come true for folks who want the best.
Today we're going to see temperatures in the low to mid 90s, while our feels like temperatures this afternoon will head into the triple digits. It's going to feel very muggy out there due to our strong tropical moisture we have in place. We are going to see a few isolated showers and thunderstorms develop, but it's not going to be widespread. Overnight we'll see temperatures in the lower 70s, but tomorrow we have a better chance of rain moving in, highs in the upper 80s and lower 90s. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
Thank you very much, Peter Sherwood. 71 degrees outside our studios, according to Peter the Meter Reader, in beautiful downtown Whiteside Road. And it's going to be another great getting up morning here at the Foothills. If you're just rising and shining, it is a beautiful day. Had a big full moon out there again overnight, and it's going to be one of those days. No rain in the forecast right now. 6 minutes after 7, glad to have you on board with us for the second hour, the 3 hours of the morning wake-up call. Now I have these death announcements. Ronald N. Simpson, age 67, of Rutherfordton, died Saturday, August 21st at Adrium Health in Shelby. Ronald will be buried in a private committal service in the Pleasant Grove United Methodist Church Cemetery. Family is planning a celebration of his life in the coming months and will be announced when plans are finalized. The Paget and King Mortuary and Crematory is in charge of the arrangements for Ronald N. Simpson of Rutherfordton. Audrey J. Rendlett, age 79, of Forest City, died Monday, August 23rd at Adrium Health, Cleveland in Shelby. Those arrangements are incomplete at this time and will be announced by the Paget and King Mortuary for Audrey J. Rendlett. Michael Keeber, age 52, of Grays Creek, passed away Saturday, August 21st at Rutherford Regional Medical Center. The family will receive friends from 1 until 2 o'clock Wednesday, August 25th at Grays Creek Baptist Church. The funeral service will be at Grays Creek Baptist Church at 2 o'clock Wednesday, with Reverend Paul Willis officiating. Burial will follow in the Grays Creek Baptist Church Cemetery. McMahon's Funeral Home and Cremation Services in charge of those arrangements for Michael Keeber. Joanne Bird, age 65, of Boiling Springs, passed away Sunday, August 22nd at her residence. A graveside service will be conducted at 3 o'clock Wednesday at the Cliffside Cemetery, with Reverend Scott Butler officiating. Family will receive friends following the service at the cemetery. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services entrusted with those arrangements for Joanne Bird. Donald Epley, age 81, of Forest City, passed away Monday, August 23rd at Hospice of the Carolina Foothills. The funeral service will be conducted at 3 o'clock Thursday at Holly Springs Baptist Church. Burial will follow in the church cemetery. Family will receive friends 1 hour prior to service time at the church. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services entrusted with those arrangements for Donald Epley. Mary Kistner, age 83, of Forest City, passed away August 20th at Adrium Health in Cleveland. Online condolences may be made at crowmortuary.com. Services will be private for Mary Kistner. Betty Weaver Reinhardt, 87, of Union Mills, passed away Tuesday, August 17th at Adrium Health in Shelby. No services will be held, and Crow's Mortuary is assisting the family of Betty Weaver Reinhardt. Peggy Joanne Loper, aged 80, of Spindale, passed away Thursday at Accordius Health in Rutherfordton. A private family gathering will be conducted at a later date, and Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services serving the family of Peggy Joanne Loper. Georgiana Caroline Blair Jana, age 92, died August 22nd. The celebration of Jana's life will be held at a later date. She'll be laid to rest at Round Hill Baptist Church in Union Mills. Crow's Mortuary is assisting the family of Georgiana Caroline Blair Jana. Those are the death announcements we have in the house this morning. For complete information on these and others as they become available to us, tune in this morning at 11:35 and then again at 5:10 as part of the afternoon report right here on the most information for the Foothills, WCAB in Rutherfordton. We'll get to the phone calls in just a few moments. Right now, here's Bill O'Reilly with the morning update.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater in San Diego, filling in for Bill O'Reilly. Stand by for the O'Reilly Update Morning Edition featuring C.S. Lewis. But first, a word.
For most folks, getting out of an unused timeshare is a top priority. With the bill always around the corner, it's like rolling the dice. Lone Star Transfer has helped thousands of people just like you and me for over a decade. They'll get you out of your timeshare quickly, legally, and ethically, guaranteed. For a free consultation, please go to LoneStarTransfer.com or call 855-551-7066. 855-551-7066.
Hey, this is Mike Slater in San Diego, filling in for Bill O'Reilly. On this Tuesday morning, I am thinking about C.S. Lewis. The great writer and theologian was asked in 1948, how are we supposed to live with this atomic bomb threatening our existence? And he said, well, as you would have lived in the 16th century, when the plague visited London almost every year, or as you would have lived in the Viking Age, when raiders from Scandinavia might land and cut your throat any night. Or indeed, as you're living today in an age of cancer, paralysis, air raids, railway accidents, motor accidents. He says, don't exaggerate the novelty of our situation. Believe me, sir or madam, you and all whom you love were already sentenced to death before the atomic bomb was even invented. And quite a high percentage of us were going to die in unpleasant ways. He goes on and asks, well, what do we do? Well, go do human things. Pray, work, teach, read, listen to music, take care of your kids, go be with friends. Live like humans, not like huddled, frightened sheep thinking about bombs. They may break our bodies, but they need not dominate our minds. He says, pull yourself together, man. Cheer up. Much worse things are to come. And in a way, I'm grateful for that too, because as Abigail Adams told her husband, these are the times in which a genius would wish to live, because great necessities call out great virtues. And God knows we need men of great virtue. Back after this.
Investors, Bill O'Reilly here. Are you sitting on capital or wanting to diversify? The NRIA Real Estate Development Fund provides returns right now. They capitalize on strategic markets. They offer payouts of 10% annualized returns plus bonuses up to 21%. They are a 15-year industry leader who have seen it all. Start your due diligence at nria.net or call 800-800-1414. That's easy. 800-800-1414.
An offer of securities is only made by the NRIA Private Placement Memorandum. Read it first. Past performance does not guarantee future results. NRIA is a real estate development firm. Learn more at nria.net.
I'm Mike Slater, MikeSlater.locals.com. This has been the O'Reilly Update, Morning Edition. See you tomorrow.
The most music's on us, WCAB.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
This is your home for Freddie Freeman and your 2021 Atlanta Braves as they battle it out down the stretch.
Ozzie whacks one high in the air, deep right center field, rising back towards the wall, and this one is gone.
Tonight, it's an interleague showdown at Truist Park as the Braves take on Aaron Judge and the American League East New York Yankees. Braves Radio goes on the air at 6:05 Eastern, 5:05 Central on the Braves Radio Network.
When Ed Crawford came to Ellsworth, Kansas in 1873, he served off and on as an Ellsworth policeman. The sheriff was Chauncey Whitney. On August 15, brothers Ben and Billy Thompson were in town. Both were known as hard cases. But Billy was also crazy. Although Sheriff Whitney was a friend of the Thompsons, Billy got mad at him and shot and killed him. Obviously, Billy bugged out of town. The incident so infuriated the mayor that he fired the entire police force. Since at that time Ed Crawford wasn't on the force, the mayor hired him as a replacement. Because the Thompsons were Texans and Texans were known to be troublemakers, there were hard feelings against Texans. Townspeople even talked about forming a vigilante group. One of the people on the vigilantes list was Cad Pierce. On August 20, 1873, Ed Crawford and some other men were in front of the general store when Cad Pierce and some other Texans came by and started bad-mouthing Crawford. Before long, Crawford and Pierce were facing it off. Crawford ended up killing Pierce. The mayor didn't like what happened, so he fired Crawford. Under threats from Texans, Crawford left town. 3 months later, Crawford returned a different man. Drinking heavily, he fired into a room that contained Cab Pierce's brother-in-law. Wounded in the hand, the brother-in-law emptied his pistol, hitting Crawford 4 times. But that wasn't enough. Other Texans joined in, and Crawford ended up with 13 slugs in his body. Now, that's really getting fired. You've just heard another story from Old West Radio. I'm Dakota Livesay.
Put Jesse James Railroad Express on your lunch calendar. He has a menu chocked full of fresh cooked burgers, fresh salads, hot dogs made any way you like, taco salads, specialty burgers, sandwiches, french fries, or onion rings. Enjoy refreshing milkshakes, Coke floats, or a cone of hand-dipped ice cream. Open Monday through Saturday, 11 to 4, closed Wednesday and Sunday. Jesse James Railroad Express, 531 Railroad Avenue, Ruthverton. Call 828-447-4644. Mondays only. Hot dogs with mustard, chili, and onions for only $1.24 each. All aboard the Jesse James Railroad Express.
Well, it indeed is a great getting up morning here in the foothills for it's Tuesday, the 24th day of August, and we turn our attention now to the phone calls around the county to find out what's been going on. First stop will be the Sheriff's Department, and Sheriff Chris Francis, good morning.
Good morning, Jim. Hope you're doing well this morning.
Doing well. You slept good last night, I hope.
I certainly did. No problems there.
I bet so. Tell us what's been going on in your department.
In the last 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office responded to 139 calls to service. There have been 11 arrests processed at county jail. Currently incarcerated, we have 207. Among those arrested, Michael Lynn Driver, 48-year-old male of Florida City, was charged with failure to appear and received a $2,000 secure bond. Cody Shane Richardson, 28-year-old male of Morrisboro, was charged with 3 counts of failure to appear and received a $5,000 secure bond. Kimberly Miller Lamons, 47-year-old female of Rutherford, was charged with communicating threats and received a written promise to appear. Robert Lee Norman, 31-year-old male of Boston, was charged with injury to property, received a $1,000 unsecured bond. Wendy Patricia Jameson, 42-year-old female of Morrisboro, was charged with failure to appear and received a $12,000 secure bond. Jamie Wayne Nolan, 44-year-old male of Florida City, was charged with failure to appear and received a $500 secure bond. Joseph Trent Bullman, 57-year-old male of Ellenboro, was charged with injury to property and communicating threats and received a $2,000 unsecured bond. Joseph Sean Paget, 55-year-old male of Ruston, was charged with breaking and entering and received a written promise to appear. Pauline Michelle Melton, 30-year-old female of Ellenboro, was charged with failure to appear and resist restraint delay and received a $30,000 secure bond. Among our incidents, we had a break and enter to a motor vehicle on Thunder Road. Tools from a toolbox off of a truck were stolen. It's pending inventory for exact list. We had a break and enter in Larston Withrow Road, Forest City. There were prescription medications and canned food taken from a trailer. We had a worthless check on Duncan's Creek Road, Ruston. Appears that someone had sold a skidder to a suspect out of Georgia who used a check with insufficient funds. We had a littering there at Bills Creek Convenience Center. Trash was left outside of the gate over the weekend. Appears some of it was from rental property, vacation property. We had a attempted B&E on Salem Church Road in Boston. Someone tried to pry open a vehicle and damaged the door. We had a larceny attempt to obtain property with false pretense, Hawthorne Lane in Forest City. A check was stolen from the mail and attempted to be cashed. Appears to be a relative of the victim. We had a larceny of a motor vehicle on Race Path Church Road. Excuse me. It was a 2004 Buick LeSabre, valued at $5,000, gray in color. Displayed a tag of FJB1335. Had a B&E on US 221 South. There was damage to the walls, and the residence was left in disarray, but nothing was taken. We had a B&E on Painter's Gap Road in Ruston. Damage to a window into the door as they broke it, and this is where Joseph Paget was taken into custody by sheriff's deputies. And Jim, that's what we had to report today.
All right, Sheriff. Sound like you've been quite busy over the past few hours.
Certainly have.
I appreciate the report. You be safe out there, Sheriff, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
Thank you, Jim. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. 20 minutes after 7 o'clock.
Does your financial advisor take the time to really listen to you? Is your financial strategy personalized for you and your family? Will your financial advisor be there as your life and financial situation change? Hi, I'm Andrew Tisdale, your local Edward Jones financial advisor. When we work together, we focus what's important to you. We create a personalized strategy backed by our advice, our tools, and resources to help you reach your goals. And we partner together to help your strategy stay on track no matter what happens. Contact me at any time at 828-287-9197. We'll sit down, talk, and we're going to make a strategy that's right for you.
Here's Amanda now with the 911 Communication Center report. Amanda, what kind of calls have you received over there?
Well, in the past 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office 911 Communication Center has processed 440 911 calls and administrative calls, which consisted of 52 for the emergency medical services, 28 for rescue, 139 calls for the Sheriff's Office, 68 for Forest City, 1 for Lake Lure, 26 for Rutherford, and 61 for Spindale. Ellenboro Fire Department had a motor vehicle crash, and Forest City had 2 motor vehicle crashes, and that's all.
Thank you very much. Enjoy your day.
You too.
Bye.
Farm Bureau Insurance doesn't hire celebrities to push auto coverage. We think people might like to make decisions based on service and savings, not just because that guy from that show says it's a good idea. Instead of faces you know from your TV, we offer faces you know from your neighborhood, because we're headquartered in North Carolina with local agents right in your town. That's really the only thing we want to be famous for. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
In Rutherford County, please call 287-2428.
North Carolina Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Insurance of North Carolina, Inc., Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
Well, the Yankees beat the Braves last night. Game heard right here, 5-1. They'll be playing them again tonight, and then the Braves take a couple of days off. Here's Ruby Taylor now reporting out of the Danieltown SDO, Shiloh Danieltown Oakley community, with our report. Ruby, what's been happening over there?
Well, they've been quiet. And on my birthday calendar, I've got Jean Gordon, Judy Patterson, Cody Price, and Candace McDaniel having birthdays today, and Mr. and Mrs. Krasowski is having an anniversary. Hope all these people have a nice day. My signs are in the head today and tomorrow. And that's all I got, Jim.
Thanks, Ruby. Have a good day.
You too, and bye-bye.
Bye.
Your car's best friend can be RS Speedy Lube Service Center. That's because RS Speedy Lube Service Center and Car Wash can keep your car or truck running clean with a regular oil change. They check the fluids and vacuum out the car and have you on your way in no time. Go next door for a radiator or transmission flush, brakes, exhaust, CV joints, and service for big trucks and campers also available. Pull next door to the RS Speedy Automatic Car Wash and make your car happy with a clean, all under and all over car wash. It's all at RS Service Center and Car Wash on Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton.
And we're going up to the Fairfield Mountains Fire District now and talk with our friend, Gary Wilson. Gary, you feeling good this morning?
Feeling pretty good, Jim. How you doing?
Doing good. Glad it's Tuesday.
Ready for the heat. It's going to roll in here, sounds like.
It is. No rain in the forecast for a couple of days. So, well, today it ain't. It comes back tomorrow. It comes back tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday for a couple of days, and then it clears out for the weekend.
It'll be mid-90s the next couple of days, maybe hotter than that. It's going to be a roaster, so everybody stay hydrated, stay cool, and stay out of the heat if you can. And we've had a quiet 24 hours up here for the fire department. No calls, sitting on about 70 degrees this morning, and we're ready to see what the rest of the week brings us.
Well, the warm weather means more snakes will start showing up along the trails in the woods and across the roads and yards. Have you seen any up your way, Gary? Any snakes?
I haven't seen too many lately. A couple of black snakes, but they'll come out in this kind of heat right now. So if you're hitting these hiking trails we got up in here, be careful. It's a good idea to wear some tall boots or something to be on the safe side and just watch where you step.
Yep.
Give them plenty of room.
A lot of times showing up in the backyard, they're looking for moisture, looking for water, I believe.
I hope they'll stay out of the house. That's the only place I have any water for them, be in the house. So.
Yeah. Stay out of the yard. That's right.
Yep.
All right. Anything else, Gary?
That's it, Jim. Everything pretty quiet.
All right, have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, talk to you then.
Bye. That's Gary Wilson reporting out of the mountains there, Fairfield Mountains Fire District. Nice and quiet up there.
Cheryl, have you been to the Homeworks Design Center inside Henson Building Materials in Forest City?
Oh, yes. Shana, David, and William are incredible at designing kitchen and bath cabinetry for my new she shed.
Your what?
And they have a full line of windows and doors on display in their 5,000 square foot showroom. And they'll install any ones you pick out for me.
Oh, you're too good to me.
I know. With selling and installing, it's basically one-stop shopping.
Henson Building Materials, 177 Duke Street, Forest City.
Building starts here.
Circling our way around the county this morning to find news, let's go over to the Hudlow Fire District. Mr. Bob Hodge, good morning.
Well, good Tuesday morning.
You feeling good this morning?
We're doing just fine up here. You're looking good this morning.
Well, thank you. I worked hard at it, I tell you. It'll be a long,
you work hard at it.
Took me a long time.
Well, Jim, things going along good up here this morning. Overnight with the fire department, it's been quiet. We hadn't had any fire calls. Want to say happy birthday to Tracy Hall this morning. And other than that, things are going along good so far this morning. Maybe we'll have a quiet day today.
Well, I hope so. It's good for the guys to be able to not have too many days in a row that they don't have to go out anything. They can rest up a little bit.
That's right, yeah.
Because they work hard.
That's right, they sure do. But maybe things go along good today, and Jim, I hope you have a good day.
Bob, thank you. You too. You and Aberdeen have a good one, and I will see you back here tomorrow. Bye. Bob Hodge reporting in this morning at 26 now past 7, 71 degrees here in Rutherfordton. Nobody gets a better deal than the customers at Sisk Family Ford. They have a proven record of the best deals. Sisk Family Ford, Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealer, has recently been recognized as the #1 Ford dealer in customer satisfaction in the Southeast. That speaks well of their commitment to serve their customers well. Look for all the new design 2021 F-150 at Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealership. That's Sisk Family Ford, Oak Street, Forest City. And let's check in now over in the Cherry Mountain Fire District and see if Sue Price has any news for us today. Good morning.
Good morning, Jim.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. Hope you are.
Doing well. Richard, doing okay?
He's doing pretty good, yeah.
Good. Are you about to heal up? You able to get around better now?
A little bit.
Yeah? Slow process, isn't it?
It is. We got a beautiful morning over here, and it looks like we're going to have a good day. I didn't have any calls from the fire department. Don't have any birthdays on my church calendar. On my personal calendar, I got Clint Hauser and Doris Ramsey, so I hope they'll have a good day. And nothing on Fairviews today, so not too many celebrating, but we hope anybody that's having a birthday or anniversary will have a real good day on their special day. And in my announcements, the Piney Mountain Boys will be at Duckins Creek Church Sunday during the morning worship service. And so far, that's the only announcement I have, Jim. It's just quiet and calm over here looking for a good day, and I hope you'll have one.
Thanks, Sue. You too, and we'll check in with you tomorrow.
Okay.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And we're going to check in now with the Drop-In Family Mart over in the Boston area in just a few moments. Thousands of people showed up Saturday. I don't know if you were part of that crowd or not, downtown Forest City for the 29th annual Hot Nights Cool Rides Car Show, making it among the biggest events yet, according to organizers. With nearly 400 entries and an estimated 5,000 spectators throughout the Friday and Saturday car show, organizers proclaimed the event a tremendous success. Visitors constantly meandered among the show cars along Main Street on Saturday. Melissa Cantrell of the Merchants Association said this was one of our biggest car shows ever. Forest City Merchants Association would like to thank everyone who participated, and we look forward to seeing them next year for the 30th anniversary. Along with pleasing classic and vintage car enthusiasts, the annual car show is a way to promote downtown Forest City and its many merchants and restaurants. Last year's car show was canceled due to the COVID-19 pandemic, so folks were ready and excited about getting out. The two-day event included a cruise-in Friday night along with food trucks and musical entertainment. On Saturday, a concert fundraiser was held for recently shot police officer Jamie Hill. That was well attended. The band Rutherford County Line donated its performance toward the benefit. He'll drew the winning names for a fundraising lottery, with proceeds going toward helping the injured officer during his recovery. So it was a well-attended event, and thank you all of you who participated in that and organized that and made it worthwhile. It was a great day for it. Hot, but very nice.
The most music's on us, WCAB.
Good morning. Good morning.
This is your home for Freddie Freeman and your 2021 Atlanta Braves as they battle it out down the stretch.
Ozzie whacks one high in the air, deep right center field, rising back towards the wall, and this one is gone.
Tonight, it's an interleague showdown at Truist Park as the Braves take on Aaron Judge and the American League East New York Yankees. Braves Radio goes on the air at 6:05 Eastern, 5:05 Central on the Braves Radio Network.
We're attempting to get in touch with our good friends over at the Drop-In Family Mart in Bostic for a regular report on what's cooking over there for breakfast. They're busy. I know they're always busy, but they take the time to visit with us sometimes, and we're trying to get through to them right now. Meanwhile, let me remind you of a couple of things coming up. Friday night high school football right now still up in the clouds. We're not sure just yet. Some of the games that were scheduled earlier are having to be canceled or postponed due to COVID. So some of the high schools we originally planned on going to and playing are not having games this week. So we're scouting around. Jay Coombs scouting around trying to find a place for us to broadcast for one of our high school teams. Now, various options are there, and we'll make a decision based on what he thinks best on what game we will do on Friday night. Last week was an interesting thing. Some of the other schools were canceled last week due to COVID. Some of them have been canceled this week, and we get this feed down the line, and game schedule for this Friday night has been called off because of COVID. We don't know how widespread that COVID is among the schools, if one person or two persons or more. But if one shows a trace of it, has a temperature, shows a trace of positivity, then they will shut it down. I guess that's, in their estimation, the smart thing to do. I don't know, but that's their call. And if one person tests positive, then they will certainly shut it down and not allow anybody to come to school. A lot of people showed up yesterday for the vaccination over at the health department. They were lined up. Cars were lined up to get that vaccination. And, of course, they were paying people $100, I believe, to get the shot, and $25 for folks who drove them there. So it was a lot of money in the expense. Yes, I don't know the exact numbers. I did hear a number, but I'm not sure the exact number on how many people showed up. And they're doing that again today. So if you have not yet gotten yours and you want to, then it's certainly available for you. If you don't want to, then that's your prerogative as well. It's a matter of choice to get the shot or not get it shot.
It can be a tough call when it comes time to provide a daycare service for an aging parent or a loved one. You can always depend on Rutherford Life Services for a safe facility that offers medical monitoring, nutritional meals, fun activities, and is a loving environment. Rutherford Life is licensed by the State of North Carolina Division of Aging. They will be glad to answer any questions you may have. Call them at 288-1697. Rutherford Life Services offers a trained staff of professionals who you can entrust your loved one to. Rutherford Life Services is located at 230 Fairground Road in Spindale.
Well, police resumed their investigation Monday following Saturday night's shooting that left one man injured. According to a story in the Daily Courier, an argument provoked a shooting outside 383 Wells Drive shortly after 8 p.m. Police responded to reports of gunfire outside the apartment. Once there, they found Don Curtis, 39 of Spartanburg, suffering from multiple gunshots. He was taken to Spartanburg Medical Center and has since been released, according to Christopher Leroy, Forest City Police Chief. Jakeem Edwards, 32 of Forest City, is wanted by Forest City Police after the alleged shooting Arrest warrants have been secured against Edwards for assault with a deadly weapon, inflicting serious injury. He's also wanted for damage to property, according to Chief Leroy. Curtis was reportedly visiting friends at the apartment. The argument reportedly started between those at two apartments before the situation escalated into gunfire. At this time, Edwards is the only known gunman. He had left the scene by the time police arrived. Edwards was not a resident at the complex either. What they were doing there, we don't know at this point. All right, we had to move on from the family drop-in. They were really, really busy, though. They had us there on hold, but we had to move on and keep moving around, running out of time here this morning. But we're going up to Shingle Hollow and talk with Tina White and see what's happening up there. Tina, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great as well. We're two great people, aren't we?
Blessed and highly favored.
Absolutely.
It's 69 degrees up here in Shingle Hollow. It's a beautiful already. Looking over my neighbor's house, it's just the sun's peeking through. Fire departments, Shingle Hollow and Green Hill, were all quiet. And birthday calendars. There's nobody for birthdays, but we do have an anniversary on Piney Knob's calendar. Mr. and Mrs. Tommy and Mary Millwood. I hope they have a great anniversary. I don't know how many years they've been married, but a great couple. I'm going to go have some foot surgery today. So tomorrow morning, if you can't get me, it's but I'm going to try to be on this outpatient.
Yeah.
And just going to have a little surgery up in Hendersonville. I'll be back this evening, if everything goes as planned.
Well,
and I thought, well, I'll just let you know.
Well, I hope it goes well for you.
It's going to go well.
Good.
Just have faith and hope. And just be in prayer for me. I'll ask the community to do that. The more prayers, the better the result.
Yeah, a lot of faith and a lot of prayers.
Yes. Everything else in the community is going well, so that I know of. Nobody's reported anything and no activities this weekend. I know White House community, which is right next to us, having their breakfast, and Brenda Kelly will tell you all about it.
I'm sure. Well, listen, I hope your surgery goes well, and I hope you are able to be with us again in the morning. If not, we certainly will understand. And do what the doctors say. Take 2 aspirins and call me tomorrow.
Have a great day, Jim.
See you, Tina.
Y'all all stay safe.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That's Tina White reporting out of Shingle Hollow this morning with our report. 37 past the hour of 7. Imagine being surrounded by comfort. At Immaculate Heating and Air Conditioning, they offer ultimate home comfort by Coleman. They will install a Coleman high-efficiency heating and cooling system and handle any service and maintenance, all for one low monthly payment with zero out-of-pocket costs for 10 years. That's right, 10 years with no service or repair fees, no maintenance fees, no unexpected cost at all. Ultimate home comfort. It's more comfort all around. Contact Nathan Blackburn at 828-755-5788. That's 755-5788, or visit ImmaculateHeatingandAir.com. Now it's time to head toward Union Mills and talk with Brenda, get the Kelly report this morning. And how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing just fine. How about yourself on this terrific Tuesday morning?
Doing fantastic.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. This month is about gone, ain't it?
Oh, isn't that something?
I'm telling you. I said, and I have done a little bit of Christmas shopping, but not a whole lot. But I've got to get busy on that.
Yeah, all the bargains will be gone if you don't get online.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So,
now
I was in Belk's yesterday, and where they used to have the women's clothes for people my size, it's full of Christmas stuff.
Really?
Nothing but Christmas.
What happened?
I said they're great forever. It ain't even Labor Day yet.
What happened to Labor Day and Thanksgiving?
And Halloween.
Yeah.
I don't know, but they got their Christmas out. It's some pretty stuff, though.
All these stores just ought to have one wing of their store just dedicated to Christmas and leave it there year round.
That's exactly right, and one part for Halloween and one part for 4th of July, and just leave it.
Leave one, have a lot of trees up, and then one side have pumpkins and jack-o'-lanterns.
Ghost and goblins.
And have some turkeys running around the other corner.
Oh, my goodness. But I guess they have to do everything they can
to make a dollar.
They have to do what corporate tells them to do.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. But we hope everybody's having a good morning this morning. I've got 66 degrees on the front porch. I don't have any birthdays, but in ways of announcement, lunch, Union Mills Community Club, that'll be today at noon. Bring a covered dish and a neighbor. Then we got a country breakfast buffet Saturday, August the 28th, 7 to 10 a.m., White House Community Center, 5408 Painters Gap Road, Union Mills, NC, 28167. Adults, $6. Children, 6 to 12, $3. Children 5 and under, free. They got all kind of good food to eat, and all proceeds go for the upkeep of the building. For bookings, call Maria Deckard at 828-625-9240. Then on September the 3rd, at the Union Mills Learning Center, the band Possum Creek will be there. The music starts at 7. They have a supper, begins at 6 p.m., and the cost of the supper is $5. And so far, that's all I got going on that I know of.
You've had several surgeries. You ever had foot surgery?
No, I've not had foot surgery, but it's funny you would ask that. It ain't just been, I believe, this past week that I was talking to somebody, and I said, well, I'm going to tell you something. I said, I ain't having no more surgeries unless it's a life or death matter. I said, I ain't got a whole lot of spare parts that left to give away. So I said, I don't have a gallbladder. I don't have an appendix. I don't have a uterus, and I've had 18 inches of my colon took out. So there ain't a whole lot left that they can take out.
Oh, you're almost
that I can do without.
You're almost a bionic woman, aren't you?
I don't know, but anyway.
Well, you've hung in there, and you better for it, I guess.
Yeah, and I hope Tina's foot surgery goes just fine. I've got a friend today that's going to have a part of a lung tuck out for cancer.
Oh, no.
And he was a heavy smoker, but when they diagnosed him on the 19th of June, he ain't smoked since.
Oh,
so I was proud of that.
Good for him.
And it's in stage 2B, so that's not good, but it's not bad either. So it's sort of in the middle. So I'm just praying that they can get it. And he's a young man. Let's see, 53, 54, he's 56 years old.
That's young.
Yeah. But people don't need to be smoking. It's bad for you.
Well, that's right. That's right.
And we don't need to eat hot dogs according to the report on your program this morning.
Well, I tell you.
What are we gonna do?
My day, I don't know if I can do it with a hot dog once in a while. You gotta have a hot dog.
I love a good hot dog with mustard, chili, and onions. Oh, I love it.
Yeah. Jesse
As a matter
James.
of fact, that's what I was thinking about having for supper with French fries.
Yeah, Jesse James Railroad Express got a good hot dog.
Oh yeah, I've eaten them before. Yeah, they are. But they said if you eat a hot dog, you better eat plenty of beans and something else, because then that'll add 15 minutes back to your life.
Oh, boy.
Oh, my goodness.
I wonder who it is sits around and thinks of these things.
I don't know. I've often wondered that, too. I don't know. But I guess you better go check on Luther Sweet Thing Gilligan, see if he eats hot dogs.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay.
Thanks, brother. Bye-bye. That's the Kelly Report, Upstate Union Mills this morning, and we will go to the big city of Ellenboro and check on them right after this.
Thinking about the departure of a loved one through death is a subject we don't like to talk about. However, pre-planning or prepaying for a funeral is a consideration and responsible thing to do. With so many options available today, it's important to speak with someone you can trust and someone who can help you find a balance between the emotional, spiritual, and financial needs of your loved ones. Crow's Mortuary and Crematory is recognized as one of the best family-run funeral homes. It's a family tradition, and they know how to care for your family. Any questions you might have, they will be happy to answer. Call Crow's Mortuary and Cremation Services at 286-2304.
And while I'm talking with Luther Gilligan from Ellenboro, if you want to call your birthdays and anniversaries, and you can start doing that already at 287-3356, and we'll take birthdays and anniversaries while I talk with Mr. Gilligan from the big town of Ellenboro. How you doing, sir?
Hey, I'm doing great. Drinking coffee, watching the sun come up.
No hot dogs this morning, though, right?
don't have a hot dog.
Okay, all right, good.
I have an egg sandwich.
Hey, that's good. The eggs are good.
It is. Pretty good. But hey, we're having a good day today. It's rather quiet this morning. Not a whole lot happening yet. Things are peaceful. Everybody just trying to get their biscuits or gas and heading on out to work. And the fire department there had one call yesterday. Piece of equipment hit the train trestle down where old Southern River across the, well, no, we're Southern Seaboard. We're across the bypass. And they stood by it until DOT got down, set out the cone, started patching it up. And other than that, they're quiet last night, this morning. So nothing else going on down here. So you have a great day up there. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, Luther, thank you very much. Enjoy your day and be careful over there.
All right, take care.
All right, bye. And it is time for birthdays, anniversaries on this 24th day of August. August the 24th. Call us now, and we'll celebrate with you. Give you a big shout-out on the radio, 287-3356, birthdays and anniversaries. Well, of course, if you know about the delectable Granny B's Daylight Donuts, I know you do. You've had some, I'll bet. Now you can experience the delicious Granny B's Pizza Combo. Yeah, Granny B's Pizza Combo. You could choose from 13 different combinations. What's your preference? They've got your preference. Order by calling 286-9012 or stop in and order and have it there in the restaurant. From 9 a.m. till 8 p.m. you'll find Granny B's available and ready to help you. Try that Granny B's Combo Pizza. Sure, it's all right to save a little room for one of Granny B's Daylight Donuts. It's perfectly okay to do that. Maybe go by this morning, have a donut and some of their fine coffee. They brew a great cup of coffee there as well. That's Granny B's, West Main Street, Spindale, right next door to the Shake Shop.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday wishes going out to Jimmy Nodine. Also, Jaden McIntyre's 14, 8th grader at East Rutherford or East Middle School. He's over in Boston. Jaden McIntyre, 14 today, student at East Middle School. Happy birthday to Jaden and Jimmy Nodine. May you have many more happy returns. Coming up, Keys to Confident Living. And coming up at 9:05 this morning, My Great America with Jim and Butch here live in the Blue Room.
St. Francis of Assisi one day said to several of his followers, "Let's go to the village over the way and preach." As they went, they met a humble pedestrian who was greatly burdened. Francis was in no hurry and listened carefully to his tale of woe. When the village was reached, Francis talked with the shopkeepers, spent time with the farmers at the fruit and vegetable stalls, and played with the children in the streets. On the way back, they met a farmer with a load of hay, and Francis spent time with him. The morning gone, the group reached the monastery from where they had set out early in the morning. One of the followers, who was greatly disappointed, said to Francis, "Brother Francis, you said we were going to preach. The morning is spent and no sermons have been given." And the saintly Francis replied, "But we have been preaching all the way." The large gatherings and media demonstrations of help for the needy are often what catch our attention. This is when we feel something is truly being done, something with which we want to get involved. But Jesus taught us not to seek publicity for our acts of kindness. That is not to say that people won't notice when nice things are done, but that is not to be the motivation for our deeds. Jesus wants us to provide clothes for the needy and food for the hungry on a regular basis. He wants it to become as natural for us as eating and sleeping. Jesus summed it up when he said, "Inasmuch as you have done it unto one of the least of these, you have done it unto me." This is Bill Hostler with today's key to confident living.
The most music's on us, WCAB.
Andrew Tisdale in this morning at a little after 8 o'clock to talk about making sense of our finances. Andrew Tisdale right here in the Blue Room.
Try the impossible. Try to understand the way I feel about you.
WCAB.
Visitors alike to reduce travel to Hawaii to essential business activities only.
He says the state's hospitals and ICUs are at capacity. President Biden will meet today with G7 leaders in a virtual summit to discuss the U.S. troop pullout in Afghanistan and the rapid Taliban takeover. More than 37,000 people have been evacuated so far, but ABC's Andrew Dimbert says the situation on the ground is still dangerous.
In Kabul, the U.S. military in a deadly gun battle outside of the airport. Pentagon officials say attackers fired on Afghan security forces, prompting U.S. forces to get involved. An Afghan soldier was killed, and more gunfire was heard overnight. The violence coming as the pace of Americans and Afghans evacuating the country ramps up.
Vice President Kamala Harris is in Singapore, her first trip to Southeast Asia as vice president. She discussed the worsening climate crisis in a foreign policy speech.
In our interconnected world, this issue affects us all. And it requires a collective vision, and it requires collective action.
Kathy Hochul has become New York's first woman governor, taking over from Andrew Cuomo. You're listening to ABC News.
For eligible individuals 18 or older only. Not available in Oregon or West Virginia. Results vary. See website for details and important safety information.
If your hearing aids are 2 years old or older, you may be missing out on the huge advancement in hearing aid technology now available with Lively hearing aids. Switching to Lively hearing aids is like going from this to this. You'll be amazed at the difference. Our rechargeable hearing aids last up to 30 hours without a charge. Bluetooth enabled, they can stream music and calls directly through your hearing aids. And adjustable settings in the Lively app put you in control of your hearing. If you've been waiting to replace your current hearing aids because of the cost, the price of Lively hearing aids will be music to your ears. Lively hearing aids cost half the price of most hearing aids, and they're backed by a 100-day money-back guarantee. Try Lively today risk-free for 100 days and save $100 at listenlively.com/radio. That's listenlively.com/radio. listenlively.com/radio.
A rock star with a simple message on getting vaccinated.
Slipknot frontman Corey Taylor says COVID-19 is no joke.
This is the worst I've ever been sick in my life.
He revealed last Friday he tested positive a day after finishing a solo tour.
Had I not been vaccinated, I'd shudder to think how bad it would have been.
Now he says he's through the worst of it, but if you're not vaccinated,
go, go, go. If you're still on the fence, I'm telling you right now, it's the best thing you can do for yourself.
Jason Nathanson, ABC News. Hollywood.
COVID cases on the rise in parts of Italy.
Crowds of tourists mingling mask-free, something once again banned in many small towns throughout the southern Italian region of Sicily, Calabria, and Sardinia. About 60% of Italians have been fully vaccinated, but infections in the south of the country linked to the Delta variant have shot up on popular holiday islands. Despite pockets of resistance from anti-vaxxers, polls here show that a growing number of Italians support legally requiring public sector workers to be fully vaccinated. In April, Italy was the first country in Europe to make vaccines mandatory for healthcare workers. Megan Williams, ABC News, Rome.
There's an investigation underway in Western Germany after 7 people at a university appeared to be poisoned. Police say milk cartons and water containers in a building at the Technical University of Darmstadt might have been tampered with. This is ABC News.
Nielsen says more than 30 million Americans watch Newsmax. It's the 4th highest-rated cable news channel, and it's available on all major cable systems, or find it on smart TVs like Samsung, LG, and more. And it's free on Roku, Xumo, Pluto, Amazon Fire, and TiVo. Or download the Newsmax app on your smartphone. Watch it anytime, anywhere. Forbes calls Newsmax a news powerhouse. Millions of Americans are watching Newsmax. You should too. Tune in today.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
We're going to see highs in the low to mid-90s today with feels-like temperatures topping off in the triple digits. Make sure you keep those water bottles with you. A small chance for a few passing showers will be possible. It's not going to be widespread or long-lasting at all. As we head into tonight, we'll fall into the lower 70s and highs will top in the upper 80s and lower 90s tomorrow. Tomorrow, we have a better chance of seeing rain develop across our area with a few pockets of thunderstorms. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
71 degrees currently under sunny skies. We got a beautiful day shaping up. Highest day around 93, back down to about where we are tonight for overnight low at 70. And then isolated thunderstorms start developing tomorrow and Thursday. But the weekend, it's looking good. Friday, is looking mighty nice. Friday night football, Friday night. We're unsure yet what that's going to be like, but it is going to be a lows around 68 Friday night, just perfect for high school football. 5 minutes after 8 o'clock, and it's Tuesday morning, ladies and gentlemen. That makes it Andrew Tisdale Day here in the Blue Room. He is right here live and in living color, and glad he's here. Good morning, Andrew Tisdale.
Good morning, Mr. Bishop.
How are you?
Wonderful. How you doing?
Good. Missed you last week. Business calls, man. When your business calls, you got to be there, right?
Business calls and other things on the outside just sometimes keeps you from getting where you really want to be.
Well, you always seem to handle it very well.
Well, it's okay, because guess what? Tomorrow's a new day, and we'll get right where we want to be. Guess where I'm at today?
Right here.
Where I want to be.
In the Blue Room.
That's right.
What you got on your mind today?
Here's what I want to talk to you about today, and I want to talk to you about, it's not to bring any sorrow, but it's actually to bring you in a place for actually preparing for your future. Let's talk about children's life insurance. Should you get life insurance for your child or grandchild? Well, here's the things that you really want to think about before you do. Number one, what is life insurance for? Always remember, life insurance is for an income replacement. If I were to pass away, does my family have what it takes to be able to get through that time frame if they lose my income? Now, think about it from a child's perspective. How many of us are dependent upon the income of our child? So if you're looking at it from this real point of life insurance, your child doesn't have income, so there's not a need to replace it. You say, well, it's a good way for me to save up for college. Let's look at the fine line there. If you start putting money back into a child's life insurance plan, you're going to get the same rate of return about like a bank CD will give you. And as we all know, those bank CDs are not paying a lot. A lot of that is all because of the fees for the insurance. You're going to get a $10,000 insurance policy, and hopefully by the time they're 18, it'll be a few $1,000s that's going to be in there. So don't look at it from the standpoint of college funds either. Well, what about this, Andrew? I'd really, if something happens, and we definitely don't want to do this, but how can I pay for my child's funeral? Think about it like this. What if you're going to take that $200 a year that it's going to cost you, and you put it aside and you put it in a mutual fund that's going to average 7 or 8% return? Well, over time, that's going to provide what you need for that same thing. And if you want to play the game, numerically wise, they're more out to go to college than they are to pass away before college. Now, I will say this. This is one thing that I was so happy with, because I had a tumor when I was 19 years old. My parents had a term life insurance policy, and they had me as a rider. That rider allowed me to carry on once I come out of their household. Check on your own life insurance. If you're really thinking, I really want it's going to give you peace of mind about my child's life insurance, look at your term life insurance, or look at your insurance at work, whatever insurance you have, and see if you can add that on as a rider, because it's only going to be probably $50 a year instead of what you would be paying for your own child. They will then get a policy to cover for their expenses in case something bad happens, and possibly carry it on like mine did. It really helped me out, because till I was 40 years old, I couldn't get life insurance, and that was a big stress, but that gave me some sort of insurance on the way. Everybody's different, so it don't work the same for everybody. Find someone you trust who will not look at it for their interest but your interest, and talk about it.
That's very clear to understanding. A lot of folks don't explain those kind of things about insurance to people where they understand it. They said, you need to get this.
That's right. You do need to get it.
But you explained that very clearly.
Well, that's one thing we all need to do. And, a lot of times we see on the media, we hear what the media says and we react. A lot of times in situations, especially like finances, don't just react. Think it through. What are you paying for this? Mm-hmm. What should you anticipate in return? What's the real stats? Because numbers do not lie.
And you always have Andrew Tisdale for you as a financial advisor at Edward Jones, making sense of investing, and that's the key point there, making sense of your investing. Make it simple for you to understand it. You'll find him at 173 Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton, and the business phone number is 287-9197, and you can reach Andrew at andrew.tisdale@edwardjones.com.
You know, I am so glad I got to be where I wanted to be this morning.
I'm glad you're here, too.
Yep.
I hope you'll be here next week.
I do, too.
It'll be next, let's see, next month.
It'll be September, won't it?
Not quite. We have
Not quite.
Be the last day of the month next Monday. Next
That
Tuesday.
is even making it more special.
Be 5 of these Tuesdays.
That's why I took last week off. Get four a month.
I hear you. Have a good day.
You too.
And I'll be back in just a few moments with some news from here and there, along with the Sheriff's Report with Sheriff Chris Francis.
What y'all asked for is here. One day, all day GA passes for Night in the Country Carolinas, presented by Ingles Markets. All day, one-of-a-kind festival experiences. All night live music featuring Miranda Lambert, Old Dominion, Chris Young, and more. Get yours at
Now let's look at some stories from here and there as we scan local and regional papers and sources. Forest City Daily Courier is reporting that police resumed their investigation Monday following a Saturday night shooting that left one man injured. An argument provoked a shooting outside of 383 Wells Drive shortly after 8 p.m. Police responded to reports of gunfire outside the apartment, and once they were there, they found Don Curtis, 39 of Spartanburg, suffering from multiple gunshots. He was taken to Spartanburg Regional Medical Center and has since been released, according to Christopher Leroy, Forest City Police Chief. Joaquin Edwards, 32 of Forest City, is wanted by the Forest City Police for the alleged shooting. Arrest warrants have been secured against Edwards for assault with a deadly weapon, inflicting serious injury. He is also wanted for damage to property. Curtis was reportedly visiting friends at the apartment. The argument reportedly started between those at two apartments before the situation escalated into gunfire. At this time, Edwards is the only known gunman. He had left the scene by the time police arrived, and according to Chief Leroy, Edwards was not a resident at the complex, so they are in search of him. You know, people, I remember just when you had disagreements with somebody, you just got in a fist fight, and whoever knocked the other down, then you get up and help them up and shake hands, and I don't let that happen anymore. But now it's gunfire. I don't know, different chains of society. If people wasn't so many TV shows that seemed to encourage that kind of action, perhaps we could get back to the fist fights, wrestling in the grass, so to speak. Well, as I mentioned earlier, thousands attended the Saturday's 29th annual Hot Night Cool Rides car show in downtown Forest City, making it the biggest event yet, according to organizers, with nearly 400 entries and an estimated 5,000 spectators throughout the Friday and Saturday car show. Organizers proclaim the event is a tremendous success. Visitors constantly meander among the show cars along Main Street on Saturday. The two-day event included a cruise-in Friday night along with food trucks and musical instruments. On Saturday, there was a concert fundraiser which held for recently shot police officer Jamie Hill. The band Rutherford County Line donated its performance toward the benefit. Hill drew the winning name for a fundraiser lottery, which proceeds going toward helping the injured officer during his recovery. Hill was shot in the abdomen on August 9th during an altercation with a suspect. He has since undergone multiple surgeries before returning home from the hospital on Thursday. And we're glad he's home and glad he is indeed recuperating. Meanwhile, the Courier is also reporting that the Rutherfordton Citizens Academy begins in September. Registration is now open for that 2021 Rutherfordton Citizen Academy. The program is for town residents who are interested in increasing their knowledge about local government operations. The Citizens Academy is set up to start September the 16th, with classes meeting on Thursday for 7 weeks. The free interactive program is open to all community members 16 years old and older who are Rutherfordton residents or work or own a business or property in Rutherfordton. According to Rutherfordton Town Manager Doug Barrick, class size is limited to 10 participants to ensure a safe environment according to COVID-19 guidelines. The classes in the Citizens Academy will cover all aspects of town government, including the police department, fire and rescue departments, and the Rutherford Town Rising program. For more information on the Rutherfordton Citizens Academy, visit the town's website. That's rutherfordton.net, or email Barrick at dbarrick, B-A-R-R-I-C-K, at rutherfordton.net. Traditional county schools began their calendar year yesterday, marking the last Rutherford to get underway. Students in the Rutherford County Schools started classes Monday. Administrators, principals, and teachers say they are glad to begin the school year. Sana Smalley of Harris Elementary School, assistant principal, said this morning has been a whirlwind, but it's been good. We're very glad to see the students here on a mostly normal first day of school. While it is uncommon to see some tears from younger students and even parents on the first day, Smalley said that was not the case Monday. I didn't see any tears from parents or students today, she said. Overall, it's been a good day. Smalley is hoping the rest of the week is smooth as the beginning. Ellenboro Elementary School also had no problems for the first day of school, according to Ellenboro Principal Kyla Bumgardner. Ellenboro is among the largest elementary schools in the county with nearly 600 K-5 students. She said we're all happy to be back in school. Every member of Rutherford County Schools team prepared with great care and attention for our students' arrival this morning, according to Superintendent David Sutton. He said, I want to commend those for the hard work that led to a smooth, successful, and positive start. So congratulations to the school folks, and we hope it's going to be a great year. This is not the first week of school for all public school students in Rutherford County. Dunbar, as you know, operates on a year-round schedule and began the new year in late July. Rutherford Early College School called Reach, as well as public charter schools, Thomas Jefferson Classical Academy and Lake Lure Classical Academy, began earlier in August. Masters Academy will start their classes this coming Monday, I believe it is. Well, the first week in September, I'm not sure, but anyway. Well, right now, it's an optional mask is optional for students. I have heard of some pressure being put on the school board by some members of the public and asking them to change that decision. Don't know how confirmed that is, but they're asking them to revisit that and make it mandatory. We hope that won't be the case, but some folks are nervous about all this and think it ought to be mandatory. We ought to be told what to do instead of being optional. So let's see what all that takes. But maybe the school board will weigh that thing out very carefully before they make a decision. It's 18 minutes after 8 o'clock.
It's our 30th anniversary, but you get the gifts. That's right, Carolina West Wireless is celebrating our anniversary and celebrating you in a big way with incredible savings, like $350 off a new iPhone 12 or a $150 credit when you bring in your own device. And as our special gift to you, get an additional $30 off any other device promo in our store. Stop by today and let's celebrate our 30th anniversary together. Carolina West Wireless, celebrating 30, celebrating you. Certain restrictions apply. See store for details or visit carolinawest.com/terms and conditions.
There are plenty of drugstores in Rutherford County, but not all of them offer the same personal customer service that is offered at the Medicine Box of Rutherfordton. Laura Hodge and her team have trusted experience and professional service. You're not just a number to them, you're a friend. Make the Medicine Box of Rutherfordton your hometown drugstore at 200 Charlotte Road in Rutherfordton. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays 9 to 1, 287-7117.
Well, as you may know or have heard, the Food and Drug Administration gave full approval of the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine yesterday. The FDA finally approved what folks have been saying it's not approved, so now it is approved. And after the Food and Drug Administration gave full approval of the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine yesterday, President Biden made a video statement calling on businesses to require their workers to get vaccinated. Watch out for this, folks. He made a video asking businesses to require their workers to get vaccinated. He said, quote, "Today I'm calling on more companies, I should say, in the private sector to step up with vaccine requirements that will reach millions more people. If you're a business leader, a non-profit leader, a state or local leader, who has been waiting for full FDA approval to require vaccinations, I call on you to do that. I call on you to do that. Require it," said Biden. I call on you no to do that. Require it, said Biden. Do what I did last month. Require your employees to get vaccinated or face strict requirements, said Biden. As I said last week, this is still him quoting, as I said last week, vaccination requirements have been around for decades. Students, healthcare professionals, our troops are typically required to receive vaccination to prevent everything from polio to smallpox, measles, mumps, and rubella. In fact, said Biden, the reason most people in America don't worry about polio, smallpox, measles, mumps, and rubella today is because of vaccines. It only makes sense to require a vaccine to stop the spread of COVID-19. With today's FDA full approval, there's another good reason to get vaccinated, so please get vaccinated now. This is your president speaking. So there you go. Watch out for that. Mandated being forced on us. More and more people are saying you better do it or you're not going to participate with us. Some churches are saying you better get your vaccination card or you can't come in our church. I don't know, folks. Here is the sheriff with our report we recorded earlier for broadcast this time. Sheriff Chris Francis.
In the last 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office responded to 139 calls to service. There have been 11 arrests processed at county jail. Currently incarcerated, we have 207. Among those arrested, Michael Wynn Driver, 48-year-old male of RC, was charged with failure to appear and received a $2,000 secured bond. Cody Shane Richardson, 28-year-old male of Mooresboro, was charged with 3 counts of failure to appear and received a $5,000 secured bond. Kimberly Miller Lamons, 47-year-old female of Rutherford, was charged with communicating threats and received a written promise to appear. Robert Lee Norman, 31-year-old male of Boston, was charged with injury to property, received a $1,000 unsecured bond. Wendy Patricia Jameson, 42-year-old female of Mooresboro, was charged with failure to appear and received a $12,000 secured bond. Jamie Wayne Nolan, 44-year-old male of RC, was charged with failure to appear and received a $500 secured bond. Joseph Trent Bullman, 57-year-old male of Ellenboro, was charged with injury to property and communicating threats and received a $2,000 unsecured bond. Joseph Sean Paget, 55-year-old male of Rutherford, was charged with breaking and entering and received a written promise to appear. Pauline Michelle Melton, 30-year-old female of Ellenboro, was charged with failure to appear and resist direct delay and received a $30,000 secure bond. Among our incidents, we had a break and enter to a motor vehicle on Thunder Road. Tools from a toolbox off of a truck were stolen. It's been in inventory for exact list. We had a break and enter in Larson Withrow Road, Forest City. There were prescription medications and canned food taken from a trailer. We had a worthless check on Duncan's Creek Road, Rutherford. Appears that someone had sold a skidder to a suspect out of Georgia who used a check with insufficient funds. We had a littering there at Bills Creek Convenience Center. Trash was left outside of the gate over the weekend. Appears some of it was from rental property, vacation property. We had attempted B&E on Salem Church Road in Boston. Someone tried to pry open a vehicle and damaged the door. We had a larceny attempt to obtain property with false pretense, Hawthorne Lane in Forest City. A check was stolen from the mail and attempted to be cashed. Appears to be a relative of the victim. We had a larceny of a motor vehicle on Race Path Church Road. Excuse me. It was a 2004 Buick LeSabre, valued at $5,000, gray in color. Displayed a tag of FJB1335. Had a B&E on US 221 South. There was damage to the walls, and the residence was left in disarray, but nothing was taken. We had a B&E on Painter's Gap Road in Rutherford, damage to a window into the door as they broke it, and this is where Joseph Paget was taken into custody by sheriff's deputies. And Jim, that's what we had to report today.
NCN Sports, I'm Josh Zach. Carolina Panthers coach Matt Rule playing it safe when it comes to Christian McCaffrey's playing time this season. He hasn't touched the field in either of Carolina's preseason losses. And Rule yesterday said that while most of the team starters will play most of the first half in Friday night's preseason finale against the Steelers, McCaffrey won't see as much action.
Christian will be very, very limited, as he has been pretty much every preseason. I mean, he's going to take a lot of hits during the season. more than anyone else out there on the field. So, we'll save those hits for the season for Christian.
During yesterday's practice, Rule also talked about what they've learned from the first two exhibitions, which were losses, and what they're working on right now.
In the run game, we left a lot of yards out there, a lot of opportunities for bigger plays. So we're just working on some details of some things, just trying to make it a little more consistent.
In actual preseason action, Jameis Winston threw touchdowns of 43 and 29 yards respectively to Marquez Callaway as the Saints defeated the Jags 23-21 in their exhibition last night in New Orleans. Winston went 9 of 10 for 123 yards without a pick, and his performance bolstering his candidacy to succeed Drew Brees as the Saints' new starter. Some of NASCAR's top drivers are taking extra health precautions for the playoff chase. Joey Logano, the 2018 Cup champ, canceled 3 public appearances this week. He also got vaccinated. Other championship contenders may be rethinking their medical plans. The discussions all starting in earnest this week after Corey LaJoie was held out of Sunday's race at Michigan because he had been exposed to someone who had later tested positive, but drivers didn't understand why LaJoie couldn't race even though he tested negative. NASCAR says it has separate rules for the vaccinated and unvaccinated, and it doesn't want to mandate vaccines for its competitors. Meanwhile, AP Auto Racing writer Jenna Fryer is writing that the easiest solution would be for NASCAR to start daily testing of anyone unvaccinated before they gain access to a garage. This is NCN Sports.
America is connected by our roads, bridges, electrical, and telecommunications infrastructure. Investments in these critical systems make our communities, economy, and national security stronger. These systems are vital to our everyday lives and North Carolina's economy. That's why Senators Richard Burr and Tom Tillis voted for legislation that makes critical investments in North Carolina's roads, bridges, and electricity systems. Critical investments in the infrastructure that makes America and North Carolina great. Repairing our roads and bridges, upgrading electrical systems, and increasing access to information systems is good for our families, good for America, and good for our future. Thank you, Senator Burr and Senator Tillis, for voting for a real infrastructure plan that rebuilds America and invests in North Carolina. Thank you for voting to invest in us. Learn more at let'sinvestinus.com. Paid for by Citizens for Responsible Energy Solutions.
Tony Finau is once again a PGA Tour winner. He ended a drought of more than 5 years in 142 PGA Tour tournaments by winning the Northern Trust in a playoff Monday. Cameron Smith hit his tee shot over the wall and out of play on the first extra hole. Earlier, John Rahm played the closing stretch with 2 bogeys and no birdies to fall out of the lead. Finau closed with a 65 at Liberty National. The victory moves him atop the FedEx Cup. J.R. Smith has gone from the NBA to attending classes and playing golf at North Carolina A&T. He was originally supposed to play college hoops at North Carolina under Roy Williams in 2004, but he skipped college, went straight to the NBA, where he played 16 years and won 2 championships. He's now a freshman walk-on for the Aggies. He's currently focusing on finishing assignments like his first ever PowerPoint presentation for an English class. Josh Zach, NCN Sports.
The music's on us. WCAB.
We're going to see highs in the low to mid-90s today with feels-like temperatures topping off in the triple digits. Make sure you keep those water bottles with you. A small chance for a few passing showers will be possible. It's not going to be widespread or long-lasting at all. As we head into tonight, we'll fall into the lower 70s and highs will top in the upper 80s and lower 90s tomorrow. Tomorrow, we have a better chance of seeing rain develop across our area with a few pockets of thunderstorms. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
Thank you very much, Peter Sherwood. And right now we're climbing up the humidity run and temperature gauge, 73 now. We're warming up to 93. That heat index is going to be even higher than that, so it's going to be another hot one, boys. So bring on the cooler. Bring on the ice cream churn. 73 degrees currently. Got some stuff to talk about here this morning, and don't forget, coming up at 9:05 this morning, it'll be My Great America with Jim and Butch. Another interesting positive outlook on what's happening in America, and sometimes even challenging you to be a part and stand up and speak up sometimes. You know, I've said many times, who we elect as president and governor is really important because they have appointive powers. They select judges most of the time in their line of thinking. right now, that's a good thing because President Trump had the opportunity to appoint several people with conservative Judeo-Christian values. And a federal court just ruled that Joe Biden cannot force Christian doctors to perform abortions. He wanted to force that issue on doctors, but the secular left wants to coerce doctors into performing abortions and transgender transition interventions, even when doing so violates the doctor's own religious beliefs. They wanted to force them to do that, even though the doctor may not believe it's right. Toward that end, HHS passed a rule under Obamacare that pushed refusal to perform abortions and transgender transition interventions with fines and other penalties for discriminations. The Trump administration reversed that coercive approach, but Biden's HHS is again on the hunt for Christian and Hippocratic oath-believing doctors seeking to obliterate medical conscience. So now a federal judge has granted a permanent injunction under the Religious Freedom Restoration Act, protecting Christian doctors, plaintiffs from having that rule enforced on them. So a federal court judge has said that president cannot force doctors into doing abortions or sexual transition if it's against their beliefs. The court ruled that the consequential infringement on religious beliefs constituted sufficient irreparable harm for the injunction to issue. The RFRA only applies at the federal level. Some states have their own, but almost impossible to expand that list because every time a state seeks to protect religious liberty in this way, the woke corporations threaten boycotts and the state's leaders beat a hasty retreat. We face a crisis today, folks, in religious liberty and the collapse of comity. But with the country quickly secularizing, millions of citizens could not care less, and our elected leaders are only too cowardly to fight back. When the heat's on, so many of them pack up and run and say, oh, well, yeah, I didn't understand what you wanted me to do. Oh, okay, well, how much money are you sending me? I'll do it. You know, that kind of thing. All righty. I hate to bring these subjects up, but it's time we started thinking about it because more and more we're drifting, as an old song, country gospel song years ago, drifting too far from the shore. I'm not going to sing it, but drifting too far from the shore. Well, it seems like right now and today, according to WorldNet Daily News Services, a striking number of Christians say Jesus isn't the only way to salvation. More than 60% of born-again Christians in America believe the ages of 18 and 39 believe that Buddha, Muhammad, and Jesus are all valid paths to salvation. And over 30% say they either believe that Jesus sinned just like other people when he lived on earth or aren't sure, according to a new study. Folks, that's a lot of people, 60%. There's a striking decline in evangelical religious beliefs and practices over the last 10 years, as the number of self-proclaimed believers to hold these beliefs has increased to nearly 25%. The study, which interviewed 3,100 Americans ages 18 to 55 in 2020 and looked at various other previous studies, saw a drop in basic biblical worldview, God's attributes, the accuracy of the Bible, salvation, and Jesus being sinless, from 47% in 2010 to 25% in 2020 among born-again Christians. That is a shocking number to me, that more than 60% of born-again Christians, so to speak, born-again Christians in America believe that Buddha, Muhammad, and Jesus are all valid paths to salvation. Oprah believes that. Oprah didn't believe that Jesus is the only way. Oprah Winfrey. And they say they're, anyway, Buddha, Muhammad, Jesus are all the same. They believe Jesus sinned just like other people did when he lived on earth. And some people just don't get it. They're reading too much National Enquirer and not enough Holy Scriptures, I believe. There's a striking decline in evangelical religious beliefs and practices over the last 10 years. And why is that? I don't know, other than folks got their face glued to secular television so much, And so many television shows are presented and produced by non-believers, and they sneak it in gradually. That's how they started with the homosexual television years ago. They sort of sneaked it in. It was a cute, laughable thing for a while, and all of a sudden it became the cast member became the star of the show, and now it's all over the place. Where it's okay, you can be gay and still be the star of the show and live a happy life, and everybody loves you, and they understand that it's your choice. I saw the other day where I believe it. I can't remember the name of the movie channel. It's not. One of those movies, Netflix. Netflix is owned and operated and produced by gay people, and they're making more and more of their movies accessible with the gay emphasis of it's okay. Let's just everybody join the gay movement, hold hands, and sing Kumbaya, and everybody's going to be just fine. And church people, religious people, Christian people, born-again believer people are saying, oh, that's so cute. He's such a nice man, such a nice woman. It's not so bad. I mean, they're not this, they're not that. Well, I suggest that they go to the only authentic book I know about to find out the answers. It's not Netflix, nor is it Fox or MSNBC or CNN or Oprah Winfrey or Joy Behar or any of those folks. They're not the authority on the life everlasting. Seems to me. All right, let's see what else is going on. There was a school voted down transgender policy defying the state. And here's some folks willing to buck the system, stand up for what they think's right. The a Virginia school board this week defied a new state requirement and voted down a proposal that would have forced schools to allow students to use the restroom and locker room they wish. State was demanding that boys and girls could go in any restroom they chose because today I feel like a girl, so I want to go into the girls' restroom. The Newport News School Board reported this, and when the law violates the Constitution, that is a bad law, somebody said. School Board Chairman Douglas Brown, this law violates the Constitution. The proposal, he added, infringes on the rights of parents. The new LGBT-centric law passed by the legislature in 2020 requires that all public school districts adopt a policy permitting students who identify as transgender to use the restroom and locker room that matches their gender identity. Such a policy, for example, would allow a student who is biological male to use a girl's restroom if the student identifies as a male, or if he just wants to sneak a peek. Now, any teenage boy wants to sneak a peek because that, well, I feel like a woman. I feel like a girl today, so I feel I should go into the girls' locker room. Well, oftentimes they just want to sneak a peek. Under this new law, school districts also must adopt a policy mandating that staff and students use the preferred pronoun and names of students who identify as transgender. Such pronouns, according to the Virginia Department of Education, could be gender neutral, they, them, their, and Z, HIR, and so forth, according to the state's model policy. Well, the model policy defines gender identity as an innate characteristic that most children declare by age 5 to 6. It also calls gender a spectrum. This is up our neighboring state, Virginia, not too far up the road. Brown asserted that the state law and state proposal conflict with parental rights. The school board, he said, already has a policy that says the school views parents as being the primary educators of their children, and when it comes to their gender, their sexual orientation, and their sexual identity. What we would be doing if we adopted this policy is we would have to throw that other policy out as well, because those two things are in conflict with one another, the superintendent said. He's a Christian. He imposes a set of beliefs, said the proposals imposes a set of beliefs on everyone. Representing the policy's definition of gender as a spectrum, Brown said, I am understanding and empathetic with everyone and always respect other people's beliefs. But as a religious person, I don't believe that, and then therefore I don't want that imposed upon me and my family and other children to have to believe that, end quote. Brown, who is African American, said it's wrong to call everyone who disagrees with LGBT ideology a bigot. I have a different belief and respect your right to have a different belief as well. And I believe forcing the schools to allow boys to go into a girl's locker room and dressing room because they say they're a girl today, forcing that on students is a wrong thing, and this superintendent is standing up to him. Good for him. He deserves a round of applause, I think. Well, let's see. Let's see what else we got here. I thought this story was really quite good. Restaurant customer in Florida gathered the entire staff in dining area. I may have mentioned this the other day. It announces something incredible. Sean Shepard, who owns the Wahoo Seafood Grill in Gainesville, shared news of an enormous tip on Facebook earlier this week, along with a photo of the customer's receipt. And I've got a picture of that. On Tuesday night, a customer asked our entire restaurant staff to come to the dining area. He thanked them for showing up and working hard. Then something incredible happened. He told them he was giving them $1,000 each. Yeah. Gave the entire staff $1,000 each. Shepard, who wasn't in the dining area at the time, later told the Gainesville Sun newspaper he only learned about the generous gratuity after one of the employees called him up, and even then he didn't quite believe what he was hearing. Check his ID and the name on the back of the credit card, Shepard remembered saying. Well, the customer, fortunately, was sincere and the transaction cleared, and each of the 10 employees working on Tuesday has since been cut a check for $1,000, and they've each promised to pay it forward in their own way. We're just a local veteran-owned seafood restaurant doing our best to weather this storm. And this is truly the last thing we expect to happen on a regular Tuesday night, but it did, and they're, of course, grateful for it. And the customer had his heart in the right place. I'll be back in just a moment.
You say hello every time you pick up your phone, but what else do you say hello to? With Bark Mobile, you can say hello to summer, to adventure, to doing what you love, because you're also saying hello to freedom, flexibility, and great deals. Like getting a free Moto G stylus when you switch for a limited time, $100 savings when you bring the device you already love, or 2 lines unlimited data for just $35 a month per line with AutoPay. Say hello to something new. It's just a phone call away with Bark Mobile. Bark Mobile, mobile made easy. Certain restrictions apply. See store for details or visit mybarkmobile.com/terms and conditions.
Robbins Auto Parts is your auto parts headquarters, located at 1891 Harris Henrietta Road in Henrietta. They're your team of professional auto parts dealers for Rutherford County. They have a commitment to serving their customers with the auto parts they need, both new and used. Open Monday through Friday from 8 to 5. Visit them today at 1891 Harris Henrietta Road in Henrietta or call them at 828-657-5732. Robbins Auto Parts keeps you rolling.
At Smith Drugs of Forest City, we are continue to offer the COVID-19 rapid testing and the COVID-19 vaccinations. Please call our pharmacy at 828-245-4591 with any questions or concerns that you may have. You may also visit our website at smithsdrugsfc.com and schedule your COVID rapid 19 test or your vaccination. Again, if you have any questions, please call our pharmacy at 828-245-4591.
Well, a number of businesses, restaurants, colleges, and churches across the country are requiring attendees to show proof that they've been vaccinated against COVID-19. Now, football fans in Las Vegas must do the same. In a first for an NFL team, the Las Vegas Raiders announced this week that all attendees at home games this season must have received COVID shots. Medical and religious exemptions are not being granted. Medical and religious exemptions are not being granted. If you have a problem, medical problem, and you don't want to they want you to take it anyway. If you have a religious reason for not wanting they want you to take it anyway. The Raiders joined the New Orleans Saints, who will require either proof of vaccination or a negative COVID test taken 72 hours prior to the game. The upside, says Raiders owner Mark Davis, is that Allegiant Stadium will be able to operate at full capacity without masks for fully vaccinated fans for the entire season. If team plans to use the free mobile Out Clear, which has a health pass feature, on-site shot clinics also will be available, and newly vaccinated fans may enter the stadium if they wear masks. Children under 12 who aren't yet eligible for vaccines may attend but must wear masks. The Raiders, who recently moved to Las Vegas from Los Angeles, established the mandate after Nevada Governor Steve Zalosa signed a new emergency directive, health and safety director have always been our number one priority. I think people forget we're still in the middle of a pandemic. It's not over yet. The owner says the stadium's previous mask mandate hasn't worked that well, and switching to a vaccine mandate removes guesswork for fans. Describing his own experience watching a game, Davis said, "I was eating and then forgot for a while to put a mask back on. I'm guilty as well." Davis admits the decision won't be popular with everyone. We're not a political party. We all kinds of people here. We're diverse. We don't want to lose anybody. About the safety precautions he had, it's not you. If it's not you, it might be the person sitting next to you. We want to keep you healthy. The vaccination policy takes effect September 13th when the Baltimore Ravens visit Las Vegas for the regular season's first Monday night game. Ticket holders who don't choose to get vaccinated can receive full refunds or credit for the next season. So there you go. I'm not an NFL fan anymore anyway, so I won't be going to them. They've already turned me off a long time ago. Let's see. James Madison University in Virginia is training students, employees to recognize that people who identify as male, straight, cisgender, or Christian are oppressors that engage in the systematic subjugation of other social groups. So, folks, if you're a male, if you're straight, or you're a Christian, and I don't know what in the world cisgender is, but if you're any one of those, you're an oppressor, according to James Madison University. According to documents obtained by Fox News, student employees in charge of facilitating orientation for first-year students this fall at JMU underwent training in recent weeks to learn about social justice and inclusion. There was a training video mandated for student staff hosted by coordinators Jessica Weed and Jennifer Iworks, described oppression as the systematic subjugation of one social group by a more powerful social group for the social, economic, and political benefits of a more powerful social group. Now, whatever that means, you're smarter than me. Many of you are already anyway, but that's James Madison University, which is supposed to be a reputable university. They're taught, student employees are taught oppressors have power to define reality for themselves and others. In other words, it seems to me they're wanting everybody to be the same. You got to fit in one mold package, like Mama used to pour stuff in a butter thing to make butter, press it all together, it came out. They want all of us to fit in that same mold and be the same, and we're not the same. God created us all different. You have a mind, I have a mind. And we're not supposed to fit in some political mold. 4 college presidents in Southern Virginia went maskless at an indoor meeting on August 10th, just after announcing indoor mask mandates for their respective students and faculty. Video reporting from WHSV-3 shows the presidents of James Madison University, Eastern Mennonite University, Bridgewater College, and Blue Ridge Community College speaking to each other indoors in close proximity without masks. On August 9th, the day before the event, JMU President Jonathan Alger and senior university leaders issued a school-wide message about updated COVID-19 protocols. You do it, but we're going to meet together. We're not going to do it. You see why folks don't want to follow these things? It's so hypocritical. They tell us one thing, and they do another. Well, got to end up here, but I want to finish up with I mentioned to you on several occasions Glenn Millett, who is a friend who corresponds with me back and forth, and he's an author, he's a minister, he writes some blogs, and he sent another one about Afghanistan. I thought it was pretty good. Let me share this with you. Afghanistan has guns, but they are in the hands of the wrong people. Television news reports have confirmed the Taliban has our helicopters, our tanks, our trucks, along with billions of dollars of our American taxpayer-bought military weapons and more. Afghanistan already had a strict gun policy. The Taliban's stricter. You aren't allowed to own automatic weapons or handguns. Thus, while the Afghan citizens have struggled for defense weapons, the Taliban and other terrorists have had access to any and all they have wanted. The bad people have guns. The good people do not have guns. Does that sound anything familiar to you folks? The bad people have taken over the country, murdering and raping as they do what they want to do without anyone interfering or fighting back. This Afghanistan. Glenn goes on to say, we can only imagine the pain and heartache of the African women. The previous Taliban rule enforced a strict fundamentalist style of Islam religion that confined women to their homes, banned television and music, and held public executions. Women were relegated to a dress code that required a burqa or similar clothing that covers the women's faces. Women were treated as slaves and sex objects. Their every move was controlled by the Taliban's interpretation of an oppressive Islam religion. The Taliban has not changed their ways. Why would you think they have? They continue to kill, plunder weapons, and take our government buildings or whatever they want for their own use. In a nation where guns are restricted, the Afghan women have no way to protect themselves. They have no one to protect them. The Taliban has the finest American taxpayer-bought weapons in the world. The everyday citizens of the country and the helpless women of the country aren't allowed to own guns. This means they aren't allowed to protect themselves. Attackers, rapists, evil men can come and go as they please, assaulting the average citizen, the women and children, and no one has access to guns to utilize for their protection. What if all the women in Afghanistan had access to automatic rifles? Our military should assign our guns to the citizens, including all the women of Afghanistan. Their army won't protect them. They have no one to protect them. Give the women of Afghanistan a fighting chance. Can you imagine if America begins to restrict our guns? What happens if we aren't allowed to have guns, or it becomes so restrictive that people give up trying to own guns? We become as vulnerable as the African people. We have zero ability to take care of ourselves. It's very troubling, and America hasn't made it any better. Equipping terrorists with guns only breathes more years of life into the evil mission. Give our guns to the desperate citizens of Afghanistan, and make sure every woman and teenager has a gun. The young girls of Afghanistan do not want to be raped and married off to men to become part of a slave harem. They have a right to fight. Thank you, Glenn Millett, for those words. Thank you. Say 54 coming up in just a few moments. My Great America with Jim and Butch. Glenn Beck's Nazarene Fund raises over $20 million in 3 days to rescue Christians from Afghanistan. Many of you know who Glenn Beck is. He's got who's on network TV. He used to be on Fox, I think, for a while. He has a website. He blogs, and a fund started by radio host Glenn Beck raised more than $20 million in less than 3 days to help evacuate Christians from Afghanistan. The Nazarene Fund is gearing up to extract approximately 5,000 people, mostly women and children, from Afghanistan as the country descends into chaos and the Taliban take over. You can read a lot about this on The Blaze, a website called The Blaze. According to the website, the Nazarene Fund exists to liberate the captives, to free the enslaved, and to rescue, rebuild, and restore the lives of Christians and other persecuted religious and ethnic minorities wherever and whenever they're in need. Beck tweeted, "I'm blown away by what this audience has done to help rescue persecuted Christians in Afghanistan. Over $20 million raised in less than 3 days. Thank you," Beck said. "Thank you for helping out." Moderna vaccine may have higher heart side effects than previously thought, according to One article Jack Davis of the Western Journal wrote, even as the federal government is demanding more people be vaccinated against the coronavirus, questions are being raised about the side effects associated with one of the 3 vaccines allowed in the U.S. Officials are exploring evidence linking the Moderna vaccine to inflammation of the heart in younger adults and at a higher incidence than was previously thought, according to the Washington Post. Side effects have been reported in virtually all forms of the coronavirus vaccine, but health officials have maintained a strict party line that the benefits of getting the vaccine outweigh what have been termed the rare side effects. The Post, citing 2 people familiar with the review, said officials from the Food and Drug Administration and Centers for Disease Control and Prevention are examining data from Canada indicating that Moderna vaccine may pack a higher risk for young adults, particularly men under age 30, than the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine. They're now discovering that the investigation includes a review of American data to see if the pattern discerned in Canada is taking place in the U.S. According to one source told the Post, we have not come to a conclusion on this. The data are not slam bang, so they're still studying that, but they believe that to be the case. All right, about 40 minutes away from news. I'm going to skedaddle out of here and take a little voice rest to get back ready for My Great America with Jim and Butch coming up here in just a few.
Over a half-century of family-friendly broadcasting. This is WCAB AM 590 and the new 100.9 FM.
Well, since my baby left me, well, I found a new place to dwell. Well, it's down at the end.
From ABC News. I'm Sherry Preston. President Biden today holds a virtual meeting with G7 leaders about the August 31st deadline for all U.S. troops to be out of Afghanistan. The Taliban says that date is firm, some asking if it could be extended. ABC News senior foreign correspondent Ian Pannell is at the airport in Kabul near an airlift about to take off.
We're now hearing via the Washington Post this morning of a secretive meeting between William Burns, the director of the CIA, and Mullah Baradar, the de facto leader of the Taliban. That would be astonishing, not confirmed by the CIA, but if it happened, it would seem that the key topic of discussion is a potential extension to that deadline, because getting everyone out in time looks to me like an almost impossible task.
The White House says since August 14th, more than 58,000 people have been evacuated from Kabul. One of the nation's top public health experts holding out hope that Monday's FDA approval of the Pfizer vaccine will mean more shots in arms.
Dr. Francis Collins, the head of the National Institutes of Health, tells ABC that the full FDA approval for Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine is a big deal. Collins said he hoped that unvaccinated Americans will now reconsider getting their shots, especially those who said the FDA approval was a key reason for holding off.
Delta is out there looking for you. If you're unvaccinated, you're at serious risk of this very contagious variant.
Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington.
Meantime, the governor of Hawaii is asking people not to visit his state because he says
our hospitals are at capacity. Our ICUs are full.
The first woman governor in New York will take part in a ceremonial swearing in today. Kathy Hochul succeeds Governor Andrew Cuomo, who resigned after an attorney general's report accused him of sexual harassment. A new study finds breast cancers that are fueled by estrogen hormones may also be stimulated by high levels of cholesterol, some hoping cholesterol-cutting drugs could also be used to combat cancer. This is ABC News.
The pandemic's reminded us we live in a sea of airborne germs that can assault us with every breath. Your nose is the body's first line of defense by helping filter out allergens, bacteria, and viruses before they reach your lungs. But like any air filter, the more clogged up it gets, the less it works. So how do you clean your nose? I'm Martin Hoke, and I didn't invent nasal irrigation. The neti pot's been around thousands of years. But I did invent Navage to make cleaning your nose easy. Navage uses powered suction to flush out mucus and germs that cause congestion, or worse, can make you sick. Over 2 million people use Navage to breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier without drugs. Navage has over 70,000 online reviews averaging 4.7 stars because it works and it's easy to use. Go to Navage.com or find Navage at Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, and Target. Now available with eucalyptus for a spa-like experience. Navage. N-A-V-A-G-E. Clean nose, healthy life.
Conditions are ripe in the West once again for more wildfires. ABC News Chief Meteorologist Ginger Z says firefighters are working overtime in California.
That Caldor fire taking at least 447 homes, destroying them. They are still doing the survey. More than 28,000 people are waking up not in their bed because they're evacuated from their home. They've got it 9% contained, a little glimmer of hope. They've had the first nocturnal airdrops ever in Northern California history, so that's going to help fight that fire. But there's also the French fire, 15,000 plus acres burned. They've got that one 15% contained. We will see more air quality issues and red flag warnings.
16 states are under some sort of heat advisory today. It's particularly hot in parts of the Midwest. Even though it's hot, though, you'll be able to add some fall flavor to your morning routine. It's that time of year again.
Starbucks is going out on a limb, adding apple crisp macchiato to its autumn lineup. The espresso drink will join pumpkin spice latte and pumpkin cream cold brew on the coffee chain's seasonal menu starting today.
That's ABC's Jim Ryan. A building owner in upstate New York discovers a treasure trove of historic items. One item, a framed photograph of suffragette Susan B. Anthony, will be auctioned off at a starting price of $5,000. David Whitcomb telling a newspaper in Rochester, New York, that he found the items after noticing water damage and opening up a concealed space in the attic. This is ABC News.
Pro football season's here, and pro roofers save valuable time with Beacon Pro Plus. Beacon Pro Plus works 24/7 for material ordering, order history, and automated promotion tracking, so you can get your favorite GAF roofing products even when working remotely. And now, order on Beacon Pro Plus and get a $175 gift card and the chance for a VIP pro football getaway. Gear up and raise your game with Beacon Pro Plus today. Build, score, and win at BECN.com.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
We're going to see highs in the low to mid-90s today with feels-like temperatures topping off in the triple digits. Make sure you keep those water bottles with you. A small chance for a few passing showers will be possible. It's not going to be widespread or long-lasting at all. As we head into tonight, we'll fall into the lower 70s and highs will top in the upper 80s and lower 90s tomorrow. Tomorrow, we have a better chance of seeing rain develop across our area with a few pockets of thunderstorms. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
It indeed is a beautiful day in the neighborhood. 75 degrees, sunny skies, warming up today to about 93, our hot time weather forecast for today. It's 9:05. This is WCAB Rutherfordton.
It's time now for My Great America with Jim and Butch. A conversation about positive things about this great country. And now here are Jim and Butch.
Well, good morning and howdy doody.
Howdy doody, Jim.
You remember howdy doody?
You know what? I remember a lot of these things. You know, there are pieces of history that you and I remember because we you know, I'll just go ahead and admit it. We are basically the same age. As painful as it is for me to admit it, truth sets us free. Hey, I couldn't help but notice a couple of things. By the way, that's very fashionable, the way you've got your...
oh, thank you.
Yeah, that's very fashionable, the way you're doing that. You know what else is fashionable? Is I noticed that you've got a Reagan for President button on you this morning.
Yes, that was when he first ran for president.
Isn't that something?
Todd found that somewhere.
Isn't that something? Well, we sure miss presidents that were presidents that had conviction, don't we?
Oh boy, don't we ever!
And I know that you've been a student of Reagan and what he's meant in our country. You know, today is what, the 24th of August?
It is.
The year is just escaping us. You know, in 1456, the printing of the Gutenberg Bible was completed on this day. In 1635, the Great Colonial Hurricane affected the Virginia colony at Jamestown. In 1814, British forces captured Washington, D.C. and destroyed many of the landmarks. You know, there's some old soot marks that they have in the basement of the White House as a reminder of what took place then. In 1853, I know this is really going to be one that it warms your heart, Jim. You know what happened in 1853 on this day?
No.
The first potato chips were prepared by Chef George Crumb at Moon's Lake House near Saratoga Springs, New York. Popular legend says he invented, though earlier recipes did seem to exist. Now, a lot of people don't know this. I'm going to let you in on a secret. Jim Bishop loves Skinny Pop popcorn. If you ever want to encourage him, he loves Skinny Pop popcorn. 80 calories per bag, non-GMO, gluten-free.
I do.
And I added something here recently to the culinary fare. This will just give you an idea of how Jim and Butch, when you put those names together, it's a collision of different things. We're common in our commitment to Jesus. We're common in our Republican politics. We're common in our belief that God birthed a nation that is built on constitutional freedoms and founding fathers who believed in God. But you know what? We have some different tastes. I want to tell you what one of my favorite items is, and I left a couple of packages of this. This is teriyaki premium roasted seaweed.
I like it.
You do?
I do, yeah.
Okay, folks, now listen. I don't think that this is a slippery slope for Jim. I'm not saying he's going to become liberal or progressive in his politics, but, you know, between his Skinny Pop and my teriyaki premium roasted seaweed, we're trying to, 2 grams of protein, we're trying to eat a little healthier with our snacks, aren't we?
I ate some of that yesterday when you brought it in, and I really like it. It's not the kind of thing that's going to fascinate a lot of people. They're not going to have it on their dinner table with hamburger steak and French fries, but it is a nice snack. I'll have to admit.
Okay, now I want to go ahead and make this apology in advance. Those of you that have come to know and love Jim Bishop through the years, I don't want you to feel like I've had a deleterious impact on your perception of him. He is homegrown. He's a Rutherford County, Gaffney, South Carolina guy. But, you know, this is good. Try it.
Listen, before we get into it, I want to commend you on that article you wrote to the Daily Courier, that letter to the editor. That was well written and very truthful.
Thank you, Jesus.
And somebody else commented to me about what they thought about that. So, would you share that again?
I'd be glad. I'd be glad to. So, and you know what? Richie Starnes is a friend there at the Daily Courier. I know a lot of people don't like local newspapers, but you know what? He's trying his best, and you can always write a letter to the editor. That's what I did here because it was on my heart. So, Jim, this was in the weekend edition. This is what I wrote. It's titled "Finding Hope in the Midst of Our Rutherford County Pandemic." Americans are weary, wounded, and made increasingly wary by this strange season we have been living in. A COVID-19 viral wrecking ball, frequently conflicting health reports, sad, frequently isolated terminal journeys in ICUs filled with broken dreams and abbreviated lives has conspired to all but crush the national psyche. 37 million COVID-19 cases, 625,000 deaths growing by the day, and an estimated cost to the United States of more than $16 trillion stares at our country with a weathered, expressionless face, not blinking a wink, while dark clouds for a darker still end of 2021 health forecast emerges. An alphabet soup of viral variants make it hard to keep up with such a sordid, simple tale. People are getting sick. Heroic medical workers are exhausted and stretched thin. Many have died. Those who live often have long-term symptoms from these widely chronicled health battles. According to a study in the Journal of the American Medical Association, co-authored by former Treasury Secretary Lawrence Summers and Harvard University economist David Cutler, the cost of the pandemic will be measured in generational terms. Even here in our beloved county, with several hundred deaths and a positive test rate shifting to an upward trajectory, it's tempting to fall into a ditch of despair. It also doesn't help when the Raleigh state government scorecards note us as a high-risk county and failing while pointing to the second lowest vaccination percentage of all counties in North Carolina. But a personal choice to be vaccinated or not gets played out in these frothy social media coliseums where fiery gladiators flail away, frequently indifferent to the truth or the power of God's birth, of people's God's birth personal convictions. So what do we say to our heartsick community? How do we fulfill the biblical command to be salt and light in a dark and bland world? When the unthinkable, untenable, and tragic health dramas of men, women, and children are written on the pages of our county's history during this 21st century plague, what should our individual response be? As a person of deep personal faith, my first step is inevitably towards Jesus. He was a wounded healer filled with a compassion for the lost, lonely, and terminally broken. A suffering Savior ran to the roar of savage sickness, bringing hope for the healing of the heart and body in this life or beyond in eternity as we repent, trust, and obey. Our impossibilities are just God's canvas for painting beauty out of the ashes and filling cracked, empty cisterns with the water of life we all thirst for. You see, our optic is invariably temporal and short-sighted, but a Heavenly Father knows the beginning from the end. We don't. Faith is a verb, not a noun, so we trust in the promises written in a Bible, which transfuses hope into spirits made so anemically weak from the battles. Proverbs 13:12 tells us, hope deferred makes the heart sick, but when desire is fulfilled, it is a tree of life. In July of 2012, into the early weeks of August, I was fighting for my own life on a respirator in an ICU in Colorado I had been helicoptered into. An undetected septic infection resulting in a bloody cough I chose not to take care of while living as a nomad in a cabin at the base of Pikes Peak almost took my life. Doctors said I had less than a 25% chance of living, and if I did, no one would ever understand my speech nor writing due to repeated episodes of respiratory arrest. I came to know the harrowing journey of fighting for every breath and praying repeated suctioning of my lungs, swelling with fluid, would grant even a moment of relief. The torments of those 51 days remains as a turning point in my life, even as I almost had the flame of hope extinguished. But God had unexpected mercy on me and made a path for me to a new life, bringing me to a county I deeply love. And I'm forever grateful and have unshakably purposed not to waste a single moment while encouraging the suffering around me, and especially now. Our community needs all of us to extend practical hands of simple hope and life-giving encouragement. In Romans 12:15, we find a command to each of us when the Apostle Paul simply wrote, "Rejoice with those who rejoice, sharing others' joy, and weep with those who weep, sharing others' grief." My Swedish maternal grandmother, Mildred, who died at 99, would often say to me, "You can laugh with anyone, but you cry with friends." We are our brother's keeper. Love covers a multitude of sins, and our assignment is to love the whole world. So, as a diverse tribe in a county battered by a virus, and more importantly, sins of indifference, cynicism, and social division, now more than ever is an open door for two gifts every hurting soul needs, the cost of which is only to shed our own desires to serve those needs of our hurting brothers and sisters. The gifts we bear are encouragement and love. Every death from COVID-19, drive-by shooting, opiate overdose, battered spouse, or mentally ill, homeless Rutherford County citizen is our assignment. Why? Because the most transforming figure in human history, Jesus, once said through the writer of John 15:13, "No one has greater love nor stronger commitment than to lay down his own life for his friends." We need each other. Let's practice that truth today.
Well, that's powerful. You have a great skill and talent that God's given you to be able to write those kind of things from your heart and speak them where people can understand. That's powerful. I'm glad you wrote that. I'm glad the Daily Courier printed it.
Well, you know what, Jim? I'd be remiss if I didn't say that. I don't write or speak anymore. I used to speak millions of words, and I wrote probably as many, not by the Spirit of God. And what's changed in my life, and I have to say that it's because of a community of faith that I'm in at Word of Faith Fellowship and friendships like yours. What's changed in me is that I don't want to speak words recklessly. I don't want to write words recklessly. I take very seriously the biblical injunction that we are accountable for every thought, word, and deed. And so if that touches someone's heart and it prompts them to action, I'm grateful for that. But the gift, if there's a gift there, is not mine. It's a gift God gave me that I'm to steward.
Well, you're willing to be used, though. You're willing to be used. A lot of folks turn their back on those callings in their life, but you're someone who recognized that calling and said, yes, I'll go, and I'll do it, and I'll speak, and I'll write.
Well, and Jim, and you, frankly, were the one that opened the door for us to be able to do this program together, and for that I'm really grateful for all the seeds that we fling out there into the community. You know what, I was listening to you earlier talk about some of the disturbing trends about a growing number of especially younger people who claim to be Christians believing that there are many roads to salvation, which of course we know in Scripture there aren't. And it reminded me, Jim, also of the fact that, organized church attendance, not just because of COVID, is also declining. And one estimate from George Barna, who actually is a friend, I've done a lot of work through the years with the Barna Group, one estimate is that only 4% of our young people that are in evangelical churches today will be active church members after they leave college. I mean, we are in a serious situation in this nation, and it's not just because of COVID restrictions. And it made me so grateful for the heritage I come from, and I know you shared about your heritage as well. In my move, I call it my move because it feels like my move. My mother's move, I've had the opportunity to see some of the history in boxes that I'm helping organize and the like. I want to go ahead and announce to you I am on an airplane tomorrow. So I'll be calling in from Virginia on Thursday. We're also going to have a special guest calling in, Uri Steinberg again from Israel, giving us an update on what some of the matters that are happening in the Middle East, especially the implications of what took place in Afghanistan on the Middle East. I'll go ahead and pre-call this. You're going to want to listen to Uri. He was formerly in the diplomatic corps. Among the things that are happening are there folks in Iraq that are wondering, is the United States military going to do the same thing here that happened in Afghanistan? We still have a strong military presence there and a lot of arms. And then Israel is now saying that's going to really affect the Asian subcontinent And so they're trying to get a hold of, because there's a lot of exchange, with China saying, look, we're going to be very involved in helping rebuild the country. We'll build a relationship with the Taliban. That is serious concern. You also have Iran that's seen a seedbed of potential terrorists to be able to train and the like in the Middle East and send back there. So it's not just a country. When you look at Afghanistan, it becomes a staging area for a lot of other things. So you're going to want to listen to Uri Steinberg on Thursday. I'll call in first with some updates on some matters. He'll call in after that. But in the course of some of the move activity with my mother, which I'm up there again for, I discovered 2 Bibles. And what was so sweet about it is this one belonged to we called her Mumu. Her real name was Mildred. And in Swedish, mor, mother's mother, was too hard for the children to say, so we ended up calling her Mumu.
Mumu.
So I found Mumu's Bible, and then I also found, this was so precious, I also found the Bible for George Martin, was dated 12/25/1958, Jim. So these 2 Bibles were theirs, and you know what was very interesting to me? I wept when I saw this. They both had a verse. They made comments and notes. It's so precious to go in and read those. But you know what both of them had? Both of them had this verse circled. And this is my Bible. The eldest cousin now, the oldest grandson. This is the verse that they had generations ago in their Bible. Proverbs 22:6. Train up a child in the way he should go, teaching him to seek God's wisdom and will for his abilities and talents. Even when he is old, he will not depart from it. Now that's marked in my Bible too, because I have 4 children and 7 grandchildren. If you don't think that your life, your pattern, your devotion, your discipline of reading Scripture, trusting Jesus, repenting, getting deliverance, obeying matters, these 2 Bibles influenced a grandson that has that same verse marked in his Bible today. It matters what we do, Jim, doesn't it?
It ought to be etched on the heart of every parent. That verse of Scripture ought to be etched on the heart of every parent.
Right. Right, because we our children are not an extension of us, but our children need to be taken hold of. That's the phrase that we use. They need to be taken hold of, and we need to cry out to Jesus and say, Jesus, what are their gifts and abilities, and how can I best nurture those for your purposes? I know that my grandmother and my grandfather, with a huge family, 11 children, 44 grandchildren, 126 great-grandchildren, and 31 great-greats, I know that up until they died, he died in his 80s of cancer, and she died at 99 just of natural causes. Every single day they prayed for everybody in the family by name. Every single day. And only heaven and eternity will reveal what the impact has been on generations. I know in the dark season of my life, wrestling with a lot of things emotionally and mentally, and with substance addiction, with alcoholism, I know for a fact that the prayers of my Pop-Up and my Moo-Moo were very significant in the drawing power of God in my life, and I will not waste that as it relates to what our country faces, what our children and grandchildren are going to face. You know what, Jim, a lot of people may not know this, is a great-grandfather.
Yes.
And you want good things for them, don't you?
Absolutely. Great-grandchildren, this, of course, new, 2 months old, but I have grandkids that are really, they've grown up in nurturing with God and members of the church. They became born-again Christians some years ago. And that's important to me as a grandfather. It's important to me, and I know it is to their parents as well. It's important that they understand what the Scripture says about reading the Scripture, studying God's Word, and being obedient to the call. And it's difficult as young Christians and older Christians as well to be obedient. And I think that's a key word. We have examples in the Bible where even God called them and they were not obedient for a while, and they ended up getting punished for it, of course. But the obedience is a key to good living with Christ, is that obedience, and obedience is a key, I think.
Well, and it's true also. It's true for a nation. I mean, when it says in Deuteronomy, I've set before you life and death, blessing and curse. Choose life so that you and your descendants will live. I mean, God makes it very clear. We serve a God of promises, but the promises are conditional on our behavior, an act of our will, and what we decide to do. And that's true as a nation. If we say as a nation, if we shake an angry fist at God and say we're going to recreate man in our image, we're going to redefine what it means to follow God, we're going to make many different paths for people to feel good, not people to feel convicted and repent. That has a consequence to it, Jim. It definitely has a consequence. But you know what? Our positive behaviors have a consequence, too, as a nation. And, you know, one of my other cousins, I want to give this to you real quickly, Steve, that I go up and stay with, has got the hobby farm. By the way, he's the one with the miniature donkeys. And I'm just going to give you a principle. I don't know if we have miniature donkeys in Rutherford County. If we do, why don't you call 287-3356. If anybody knows if there are any miniature donkeys in Rutherford County, call 287-3356. I'm getting to know chicken farming and horse-related matters, and I think they may have some pigs on the way, and lots and lots and lots of chickens. But they have miniature donkeys, and what I've learned, one of them is called Honcho, and the other one is called Libre, and if you cross them, they're short and stocky, but they'll come after you. They'll come after you. But he has a daughter, and I've talked to. They watch on YouTube My Great America with Jim and Butch, and she wanted to make something for you, and so I put this in my suitcase and brought it back, and this is from Ella, and it's for you.
Oh, how sweet! Jesus is the way.
Yeah, I brought her some glittery paint, and she was so excited. And she wanted to make sure that I gave that to you. Maybe you got a place on the wall that you can put that.
And what is her name?
Ella.
Ella, thank you so much, Ella. I appreciate this very much. I'll have a special place for this. Jesus is the way.
That's right. And you know what? You never go wrong, I found. I had 3 daughters. You never go wrong when you bring glittery things to them, Jim. If you want to find something, and I love doing arts and crafts with children. Most Thursday nights, I try to get over to a group of children that are in a blended family, and it's so good. You know, Jesus said that we're called to be like little children. That if we're not like little children, we won't enter into the kingdom of God. And he's been putting on my heart recently, what does it mean? Well, children are trusting, they're dependent, they're forgiving. And when I go to Jesus with a child's heart and say, Jesus, I need you. I don't know, but you do. I need your health, your protection, your guidance, your wisdom. I need to hear your voice. The most frightening thing in the world, Jim, is feeling like I'm not hearing God's voice, because he will speak to us if we come to him with a heart that's open, a heart that's repentant, and a heart that really wants to become more like him. We're rounding the home stretch, and I want to make mention of a significant person that was born today, years ago, and I'm going to make mention of this because it's a reflection of the principle a single life can make a profound difference. You may think that your life doesn't matter, and that's just not true. That's a lie from Satan. You know who was born today? Today, in 1759, William Wilberforce.
Oh, yes.
Was born. And let me just tell you real quickly, he was the leader in England to abolish the slave trade. You know, and it came after he was in the Parliament, and he became an evangelical Christian. It resulted in major changes in his lifestyle and a lifelong concern for reform. He passionately pursued the abolition of slavery. He died just 3 days after hearing that the passage of the act through Parliament was assured. He spent the remaining decades of his life passionately pursuing that single cause. What's the cause God's put in your heart today? Whatever it is, ask him to give you the strength to follow through on it, because, Jim, it's only as we all pick up the sword, the shield, the helmet of salvation, breastplate of righteousness,
full armor,
belt of truth, gospel shoes of peace and all prayer. It's only as we're empowered by God that we can bring this country back to where it needs to go. And I think most people, unless you're totally disconnected from reality, would see that it's a penetrating look into the totally obvious to say our country's in trouble. Let's get on our knees and let's get into the battle. That's how we'll make a great America.
Absolutely. And it's verse of scripture there again with a promise. If my people who will humble themselves, bow down and seek forgiveness, I will heal their land. There's a promise there.
Right.
If we do our part, then he'll do his part.
It starts with us. So follow us into battle this week, okay?
God bless America.
God bless America.
Thank you for joining us for My Great America with Jim and Butch. Join us each Tuesday and Thursday morning at 9:05 for this enlightening program on 100.9 FM and 590 AM. It's My Great America with Jim and Butch.